What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and today I'm going to be previewing and predicting what I think is going to be shown at the PlayStation Experience 2016. Now, if you remember back 2 years ago is when they first started doing this PlayStation Experience, and it was really awesome. 2 years ago, a lot of big announcements. It was a ton of fun. We weren't expecting them to have a PlayStation-specific conference in December. And they blew it out of the park. It was really cool to see Sony do that. Now, last year they did it again. And last year I feel like they got a little bit ahead of themselves, where last year's event, they didn't really talk about anything. Last year was a little bit of the push to VR. They announced Ni no Kuni 2, which was the biggest announcement of the press conference, which I really enjoy. I think that game is going to be phenomenal. The first one is regarded as one of actually the best games on the PlayStation 3. So I have no doubt that Ni no Kuni 2 is going to be good. But last year, for the most part, there was nothing there. Very underwhelming, and it wasn't that good. This year, I feel like they're going to bounce back. I feel like they're going to take a lot of what they heard last year to heart. A lot of people were complaining, and as they should have been. And I feel like Sony's going to fix things, and this PlayStation experience is going to be a lot better. I feel like we're going to see more announcements, more things of that nature. So I'm going to predict a couple of the things that is going to be there this year. And I talked to Tyler, and he gave me some of his predictions as well. So firstly, I want to talk about the PlayStation VR. So I got it. The review is on Podcast Now. I reviewed a bunch of the games for it. This is the first holiday season with it out. Obviously, it came out, and hopefully it did well over Black Friday. But now this is the first PlayStation experience where they have to build on what they have already created. The technology is phenomenal. You can hear me talk about how much I love the VR. But now it needs more games. It had a good batch of launch games. It's getting games released like Robinson the Journey, Eagle Flight, Werewolves Within. It's getting a few of them. But now next year is where you really need to push it. So I'm expecting several games to be announced for PlayStation VR. I think they'll announce a lot, and I also am predicting, and hopefully there will be a major game, a major release on PlayStation VR. I don't really know who would do it. I feel like, honestly, I want to say Quantic Dream would be somebody that comes to mind that could maybe make a VR game that would be super good. But I am expecting maybe a first party. It doesn't have to be first party, but I'm expecting a exclusive VR AAA game that's going to be announced at this year's event. I also wouldn't be surprised if you see VR attached to more of the Sony exclusives, such as Detroit Being Human. I wouldn't be surprised if maybe there was a level or something in there where you could play it with VR, or Horizon Zero Dawn. Maybe there's like a world, you could experience the world in VR for a mission, or something like they do with Final Fantasy 15. So I feel like that will definitely be there. Tyler does agree that obviously VR will show. We both think that this will be the year, obviously, where all the footage that's going to be shown is going to be from PlayStation 4 Pro. None of it is going to be from the regular PS4. While me and him still have it, and we do not have a Pro, the Pro is out. It's out in the wild. People have bought it. I'm sure it's doing well, considering this. It really is the next step, improving a lot of things. And this is really Sony's push against the Xbox Scorpio or Xbox 2 or whatever you want to call it. But this is going to be the PSX where they need to continue to push it, because now next year Scorpio is coming out, and Sony will most likely be behind big time for at least another year and a half until they can get the PS5 out. So I would expect all the games to be shown on PS4 Pro. They'll talk about it a little bit more, just like they would talk about VR. Horizon Zero Dawn. We are both expecting that to be there in a big way. This is the last time you're going to see it before it releases. It comes out very soon. And again, this is the last conference they can show it. They show it every conference, but you know what? That's fine, because this could be their next big game, and this is the last time they can show it off. Now Tyler believes Wild may be there. If you remember Wild, a very interesting looking game. I think it's going to be a very good game. he says, looking almost completely different. Maybe he can type in the comments what he means, but maybe, given an extra jump from the last time we haven't seen Wild in a long time, so I'd be interested to see it again as well. He predicts Days Gone, very short gameplay with release window. I would agree. I think we will see another gameplay video of Days Gone, and I don't know if we'll get a release window, but I think we will definitely see it again. Games that I think this will be the year for Detroit Being Human, where we see more of it at the conference, and then they also give a release date. So I'm predicting Detroit Being Human will get a release date this year. God of War 4 is something I'm not really sure about. I think they could show it, but it could still be too soon. It depends on when the game is actually going to come out. I'll lean no, and I'll say there won't be God of War. You can't have everything there, so I'll say no God of War 4. Tyler agrees. He says no God of War 4. So like I said, I think Detroit Being Human is going to get a release date. I thought that maybe Kingdom Hearts 3 could be shown there. Sony has had a partnership with them for a while, and it's kind of been their thing. But Tyler doesn't think so. He thinks it won't be shown until 2017. I think it's a possibility, but yet again, with Final Fantasy 15 just coming out, maybe they will talk about that instead. And along that way, let's not forget The Last Guardian. I feel this is also, Last Guardian releases next week. This weekend for PlayStation Experience is the last time before it comes out within 2-3 days of this event. So I think obviously there'll be maybe one final trailer, one final push for it. I'm going to get it. We'll have a bunch of content on it for podcast now, so it'll be everywhere. But I'm sure that will be shown. I'm sure that'll be heavily shown because this is their last shot at it. I believe that we'll see Spider-Man again. Now, Spider-Man, again, we saw at E3, which was a major surprise. I am not a fan of Spider-Man in general. I do not like most of the movies, but I do like the concept of Spider-Man. I loved the PS2 game a long time back, one of the best open world games that they ever made. I feel like the Spider-Man game that Insomnia showed back at E3 looked phenomenal, and I really want to see more of it. I think it'll be there. Tyler says maybe Spider-Man will be there, but he feels the big reveal would be in June because the movie comes out in July. I can agree with that. I think you have to show one of Spider-Man or God of War again. I think you have to come back and show it this time. The final couple things, I think Death Stranding could be there. The Game Awards is around the exact same time, actually, and Kojima is going there for whatever the Lifetime Achievement Award that Jeff Keighley's giving him. So I don't know if Kojima can be in two places if it's on the same day. I know both of them are close together in proximity to each other, so maybe he can show up. It would be nice to see Death Stranding again, especially knowing what we know about it. It's going to take a while for this game to be made and come out, so it'd be nice to see kind of like incremental steps of let's see where this game is progressing. So I think it should be there, and it could be there. Now, I also believe this is obviously when we're going to see the Uncharted 4 single-player DLC. Maybe they'll talk about how well it sold. I think it sold easily over 5 million copies, so it would be nice to hear about how Sony's top exclusive is performing. And it's also been, 7 months, 8 months since Uncharted 4, I think 7. And I feel like now is the time when the DLC will come out. If you remember, The Last of Us came out in June, early June, and then Left Behind, its DLC came out on Valentine's Day. And I feel like they'll pull the same thing with Uncharted. Uncharted came out early May, and I feel like if they show it now in December, they could say it comes out late January, which means I wouldn't be surprised if at E3, and obviously we'll have an E3 predictions, and we'll do a whole thing about that again when it comes back. I can't believe it's already been 6 months. I feel like that's when we'll see The Last of Us 2. We won't see that now, but I do think we will see a cinematic trailer for the Uncharted 4 DLC. Now, I don't know about seeing Ni no Kuni 2 again. I'm not sure if they'll pull that. They did it last year. Like I said, they announced it. I don't know if they'll come back and show it a second time. Maybe they will, just to give a release date, because we don't know when it's coming out. We don't even know the year. I would assume it's coming out this year. So maybe we do see it again, or maybe they wait until E3 and then it's coming out in the fall. They could do either or. I think would be fine. I think we'll see Gravity Rush 2. Gravity Rush 2 comes out in January, so I'm sure that will be there. I'm sure, obviously, I'm missing things. There's going to be small games being announced. There'll be indie games. I'm sure there'll be VR games. Like I said, maybe we get some Vita games. But I think this year's big reveal, other than maybe showing either Spider-Man or God of War, maybe we see Days Gone again, I think the big reveal of this PlayStation experience, last year's was Ni no Kuni. I feel like this year's is going to be, we finally see what Sucker Punch is working on. Sucker Punch has been working on this game for a long time. Infamous Second Son came out more than 2 years ago, so it's been a long time since their last game. We know that Shuhei Yoshida has played their game, just like he played Sony Ben's new game, and we didn't know what that was at the time. That was a year and a half ago at E3. That was Days Gone, obviously, from Sony Ben. So Sucker Punch, and I feel like Days Gone has had some trouble with it, especially because Sony Ben's last game was Uncharted Golden Abyss for the Vita. They haven't made a AAA game, and that's what Days Gone is going to be. I don't know what's going on with Sucker Punch and what's going on with their game. I feel like there maybe could be troubles, or it's just going to be a really big, solid game because it's taking them so long. I feel like this is finally when we're going to see it. Would I like them to do something other than Infamous? Yeah, I actually would. I'd prefer that they would do something other than Infamous. If they are going to do Infamous, I'd love them to try and cycle back to Infamous 3 with Cole. I don't want to see a Second Son 2. I really, really hope they are not making Infamous Second Son 2. Infamous First Light, the DLC, showed me that they can still make a good Infamous game because that DLC was very, very good for Second Son. But Second Son itself was not a good game. It was very average. And maybe they want to show that that was just a one-off thing, and that they are still capable of making some of the best games around, as they are. So maybe they decide, okay, well, we're going to make Infamous Second Son 2. There's promise there. I think we've talked about it, Tyler and I, before, where with Delson's power to absorb other people's powers, that's a cool concept, and that could be expanded upon, and you can really have a lot of fun with that. But he is just not a good character. He's not strong. He has no personality. You can't connect to him. I really don't even like him. So I would like them to not do that, but I'm going to bet that this will be where we see their new game, and this will be the biggest reveal. Maybe it's connected to VR. That would be pretty sweet. So guys, that is what I think of my predictions for PlayStation Experience 2016. It's this weekend, December 3rd and 4th. The conference will, I'm sure, be live streamed. I'm sure we're going to see a lot of cool things. This weekend is going to be very big with this and the Video Game Awards. We'll probably see a few new games get announced. We'll see gameplay. We will see probably more release dates to get the... we have a lot of games we know are coming out between January and June, but we don't know that many. We have several, but we don't have them all. And I'm sure this will kind of fill it in until we get to E3, and then it'll fill in the rest of the year. So guys, what are you expecting from PlayStation Experience 2016? Let me know in the comments below. Let me know what you think is going to be shown there. Let me know if I'm right or wrong in my predictions, and we will talk about it. If it's a big enough event and it's popular enough, I will do a video and we'll talk about what we saw. As long as if it's better than last year's event, I'll make another video talking about it. If not, then we maybe should make a video discussing that they need to work on these events. So that's what I think. If you like this video, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel, Podcast Now. Make sure you like this video, share with your friends, comment away below. And guys, enjoy watching PlayStation Experience. If you're going, that's pretty sweet. I really want to go, and I forecast that I will be going to one of them one of these days. So I will see you guys in the next video after PlayStation Experience is over.